Hey guys, Mason here again, and today we're going to look at doing the Cogent Dynamics DDC, which is a drop-in damper cartridge. As you can see, I've got the forks out of the bike already, which is super easy. The best way to do it is to undo your top triple bolts. When those are loose, you loosen the top cap of the fork while it's still pinched by the lower bolts. Then obviously you take off the front wheel, the brake caliper, which I've just got hanging over the crash bars here, the speedometer cable, pull the front wheel, which is over there, and then after you've undone the tops and loosened the fork caps, then you just undo the bottom while supporting the tube, undo the bottom, and it slips right out. Now I have one cap off, and I have drained the oil out of that one tube. I'm just letting it sit there now to get as much oil out of it as I can, and I'm about to do the second. But what I wanted to show you guys is, I don't know if you've been following along, last winter I did the fork oil in the KLR, and that oil went in beautifully clean. So just after last season, you can see how black that is. So this time I'm going to go with a full synthetic, which is what Cogent calls for anyway. I'm going to use a full synthetic 5-weight, and we've got all the new bits to go in. So anyway, that's that. Let's drain the second tube. The bench is becoming a bit of a mess here as I work on the bike. That's to be expected. So I've got these loose. I'm just going to finish taking this off. Slight pop at the end because of the pressure of the spring in there. It's the old cap. It's the old spacer. And then inside here is going to be a washer and the old spring. And more of that oil. It's not too bad, but you can certainly see how it's got some time on it here now. The TCAT trail was, well, it would have made the front suspension work, let's put it that way. So I'm just going to work the oil out of this tube, and then I'm going to leave it to drain with the other one. So we'll just let those sit there like that. I'm going to leave them overnight. So right off the bat here, we can see a fairly big difference. This coil is definitely heavier than this coil. This is the drop-in damper cartridge, and this is what's going to do your damping now. Very cool idea. So those go in the bottom. This goes in the tube first with this tool. Then you slide the new coil down over this rod and it sits on that, and then you pull this out. This is a magnetic tool they have for putting these in. Because I have these from Cogent, which is an adjustable top cap, which lets me adjust my spring preload. By turning this down, it extends this out, which cranks that spring tighter, which increases my spring preload on the front end. So because I'm using those, this gap needs to be taken out, so they send you new spacers, which are again a touch shorter. And that's the difference of the cap. Alright, I think that's as far as I can go right now, until I get my new oil and those are drained out completely. I'll come back when we can finish it up.
Okay, so the shop heater was blaring away here, so I think I'll just talk you guys through this in a little bit of a voiceover. The first thing I did was find a piece of steel. It was just a little bit of end stock I had laying around, and I put a zip tie on it and measured up my 130 millimeters. Hung that on the edge of the tube, resting on the zip tie, and then filled the fork up until I was right to the bottom of the threads. Then to double check it a little bit more specifically, I measured 130 down on one of my T-wrenches, dropped it in, checked my level against my mark, and everything was good to go. Now it's time for the drop-in damper cartridge. It's very simple. It goes on the tool that they sell. You push that down to the bottom, drop in your coil, and pull the tool back out. It actually doesn't get much easier than that. Then it's time for the washer. In goes the spacer. And my adjustable top cap. I just tighten them down loose and we'll torque them later. Okay, and then it's time to put the forks back into the bike. Very simple. You just slide them up through the fork clamps until the top of the tube is flush with the triple tree at the top. And you tighten down your lower bolts, leaving your top ones loose so that we can torque down that top cap before we tighten the top bolts up and pinch that cap tight. Torque everything to spec. And then it's time to put the front wheel back on. Check to make sure you haven't pinched that front speedo hub. Then it's brake caliper. The speedo cable bracket. The front brake line bracket. And torque everything down nice. And just like that, you're done. Now I'm going to take some measurements here and set my sag, but then it's time for its first maiden voyage. But that's one for another one. Ooh. Thank you very much for watching. Mind how you go, and I will catch you guys on the next one. That's it for me, Mason out. Hey guys, if you liked that video, hit the thumbs up button for us. It goes a long way towards helping out the channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button in the upper corner for new videos every Sunday. Be glad to have you along for the ride.